Alright, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another market recap. I got my ICT cap on. I'm going to go on another rant in just a second. It's Tuesday, 5:58 p.m. And you know what? No one's probably watching this because all my last few videos have gotten no views. And so that means that I can have no anxiety when I'm recording this video. So, in this video I'm going to talk about my mentor, Dodgy. And I'll get into the market recap. It's actually going to be a really good one today. But it's been a while since I've talked about Dodgy because I think, the last time I talked about him was 6 months ago when he did that thing where he made fun of me in front of the whole Discord. And so I'm going to call him out again. And I love Dodgy to death. I love Dodgy to death. He is one of my favorite people. There's no one out here doing what Dodgy's doing. But also someone needs to call him out because he can't just say this every single time there's a trade. Like, it was funny, like, for a few times, but he calls every single trade. That's not even, like, this isn't even, like, something a beginner would even think to take, in my opinion. He calls every single trade a donut. And he needs to understand from a person who is just coming into trading, like, sure, get mad at the people who've been in the space for 2 years and still can't find the A+ setups, but this isn't even the most obvious trade in the world for someone. Like, this is a giant, you have to understand, like, most of the time you don't want to take a trade if there's a giant dump, right? You had to understand that there was good low resistance liquidity over here, and that's a super advanced thing. And so it gets me to the point where I'm like, yo, we can't call every trade a donut. We can't go be calling every trade like, if you didn't take this, you're a donut, because there's so many new people who are genuinely just trying to learn and get so discouraged if they just hear, oh, I'm just a donut. Like, I don't know. It's just, I just feel like it's okay to an extent if it's an actually obvious, like, stupidly obvious trade. But I think it's getting a little extreme with this. So that's my rant for today. I don't know if Dodge is going to watch this. Probably not, but I think we should just chill out on the whole donut thing because I think there's a lot of new people, and I just feel like I've seen people in comments. It's just hard for, like, people in the space that are new, and trading is already hard enough. So anyway, let's get right into it. I got my ICT cap on. I don't know if I said that already. I literally can't remember. But let's jump right into it. We got a lot to review. Today's actually going to be an exciting day today. So it's a lot of interesting stuff, and I have a lot of notes, actually. I did quite a bit of back testing before this. So today is going to be good. I'm going to cover flow state setups at the end because my main model I'm trading is IFGs right now. But I will talk about it because I think that it helps to give you the whole picture about what happened in the market today, right? What is going on here? Hello? Come on. Look at me. There we go. All right. So, starting off, let's go over the trade that I took today. So, I actually did take this trade, and for once I can say that. I'm proud of myself. I caught a decent trade. Well, we're going to talk about it. So, what happened is I was planning on completely sticking to what I would normally do, which is I only trade within my live trading window, 9:15 Eastern to 11:10 Eastern. But if there's something crazy good, I will make an exception. And this, in my opinion, was really, really good. And I had to execute. I'm not going to pass it up. It's one of those trades where I actually might have been a donut if I didn't take this, right? So let's go ahead and talk about it. So we had this. Essentially, this overlapping bearish and bullish fair value gaps. This is a 1 hour BPR here. So zooming down to, I think it was a 2 minute, yeah. Okay, popping down to 2 minute. We had super good generated liquidity here. You can see how this is like, see how perfectly generated this is, where it's just lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And we have this amazing sweep. Check this out. Amazing sweep right here. And then inversion right instantaneous V-shaped recovery. Now there is this gap here, but the thing about this is I know just because this liquidity is so good that this gap's not really going to matter. And so I loved this trade. I took this as a 1-to-1, or I think it was 1.2 to 1 actually. And yeah, I took this for real today on my real account. So proud of myself for that. But yeah, this is just one of those trades where it's like when we have super obvious generated liquidity like that, we're delivering from a higher time frame gap, and then we inverse back to the upside. See how we closed above this old for value gap, and we quickly popped below this old low. This is A+ stuff right here. If you see this and you see it targeting this like a trend line, dude, that's going to be one of the best kinds of trades. So I love that trade from today. That was awesome. Here you can see this was the LRLR here. So that was trade number 1. That was the one I actually took. I didn't take any more trades for the rest of the day, but there were other opportunities. Starting with the one Dodgy was talking about, we have this, which is a 3-minute inversion. This is one where it's interesting because let's go ahead and talk about it. Because yeah, it's a good trade, but like, if I'm being honest, before Dodgy even mentioned it, I said like this is okay, but I probably wouldn't take it because usually you don't want to take a trade right after a dump like this, right? Usually you don't. We had this giant dump here, and usually you don't want to take a trade right after a giant dump. But we actually had SMT with this low. You can see that with YM right here. See how we have SMT with this low? So lower, low, higher, low. And then this is a 1 hour BPR. So we're delivering from BPR with SMT. So there's the SMT. I'm not going to try and overcomplicate it. Basically, we were just delivering from a fair value gap. We had SMT, and then we popped back up and inverse this right away. And we had this giant range above. This is just like essentially a giant accumulation range. And so because of this is a good draw on liquidity. So you can take this inversion right here and target this high. And the reason you don't care about this is this isn't really a fair value gap, right? This was such a big instantaneous dumpage that this is like a void, right? That's going to act like a void. And so that means we're going to just run right back through it because there's no liquidity in there. This is a liquidity void. So once again, back on this trade, here you can see 1 hour discount BPR, instant dumpage, but we still have all this accumulation up here. And because this isn't actually a fair value gap, this is a void because this was instantaneous dumpage like this, we can take this inversion back up to go run back up to the accumulation range. And that is why, because this isn't a fair value gap, this is a void. Fair value gap, it's all about context, right? If there's an accumulation range here, this is the draw on liquidity, right? And so since we sweep out this low and inverse back up, now this accumulation range is the draw on liquidity. Okay, next up, so after that inversion, boom, you take that up. I'd probably just target the end of that accumulation range. Now, once again, this isn't something that I really thought to take, but in the future, it's now in my repertoire, added it to my mental checklist. So there we go. Let's see what else we have here. A lot of flow states today, and Jan, so props to Jan. I think he just caught I think he caught like 1,500 times 5. I think something like that. So that's crazy. Good job, Jan. You can see this is the trade from Jan today. Wow. Let's talk about that actually. It's crazy flow state trade. Like actually insane flow state trade today. And I saw it right off the bat. I mean, if you understand how to do flow state, you would have caught this trade because this was a really, really obvious flow state. Like one of the most obvious ones you could possibly get. So here you can see Jen. Check this out. This is like, what is this? Like, hang on a second. What is this? This has got to be like 5-1. Dude, Jen, you're banking, dude. You are banking. That is insane. And so I'm going to go over this trade, but you can see here, takes half off here and then scales all the way through here. Remember, this is where that trendline liquidity was, where those highs were. So you're scaling all through here. And then he just left a runner to go to here. But, wow. So let's look at that, right? Let's look at this flow state. So what was this flow state? I don't know if I've ever done flow states in a market recap before, but we're going to go ahead and do it, whether it's the first time or not right now. So you need a higher time frame key level. So in this case, we had overlapping for value gaps, bullish, bearish, and bullish. So that's a 15-minute BPR. And remember, we still had that SMT. So this was in discount right away. 15-minute discount BPR with SMT. With SMT. And so you need to align this with the 1 minute for 1 minute change state delivery. So where is this anyway? So you align the 15-minute key level, so 15-minute discount BPR with a 1 minute change in state of delivery. If you don't know what that is, go watch that video I made on it. It's like my most popular video right now. But SMT 15-minute BPR, and boom, change state of delivery right here. You see this? Candle body close above this old up close candle. So 15-minute BPR, 1 minute change state of delivery, and that's and the liquidity sweep. Remember, so those are the three things you need: key level, liquidity sweep. So 15-minute BPR, that's the key level, liquidity sweep, and change state delivery. And then you can either enter on the retest or the close, and then you just target standard deviations. And this is crazy. I don't know if I've ever shown this on the market recaps before, but you can measure standard deviations like this, and you'll notice a lot of the time they line up exactly with highs, right? This third standard deviation exactly with this high, right? Second standard deviation lines up exactly with this trendline liquidity. And the fourth standard deviation marked out this high. So anyway, you want the standard deviations to align with draws on liquidity. See how this first standard deviation lines up with this? Second standard deviation lines up with this. Anyway, if this was me, I know this is the main target for the day. This is the trendline liquidity. I would just target that, go ahead and take my 2R for the day. Now, I maybe would have even entered on the close. And when I enter on closes, I enter slightly more aggressively. And then this could have been that'd still be a 2-1. But yeah, very, very nice. And look, this is something I've never mentioned before, but look at how we backtest OTE right here. See that? That's something that I've been noticing a bit about flow states, is sometimes before we get the change state of delivery, we'll backtest this OTE. I don't know why, but I'm going to be experimenting with that more because I've noticed that happen a lot. Anyway, let's keep going. So, there's 1 minute change state of delivery off a 15-minute BPR. And then we had another flow state right here. So I know I'm talking about a lot of flow state and I'm trading IFGs, but honestly there weren't a ton of IFGs. Well, let's finish the IFGs for today. Let's finish IFGs. We had honestly the main two were the one I took and then the one down here. There honestly weren't a lot of IFGs within here. The only other one that I saw, I'm just going to pull it up because I don't want to draw it out because it's not really that relevant, honestly, was We got a 10-minute one here, but I'm not trying to take the 10-minute really. But I just noted it, right? Look, we got a 10-minute IVG. This pretty light bulb signature sweep out with SMT. Now I wouldn't take this just because it's 10-minute, but yeah, like I said. Now maybe I'll get more familiar with the 10-minute and I'll consider taking it in the future. But yeah, anyway, light bulb V-shaped recovery here. Okay, and then lastly we will cover the other flow state. Let's go ahead and cover it. So it's right here. So I'm just going to pull it up in this because it's going to take me too long. So this was a 15-minute for Viagap. We sweep out this high, right? So there's your step 1, liquidity sweep. And then step 2, change state of delivery. Wait. Okay, key level. Step 1 key level. So we got a 15-minute gap. Step 2, liquidity sweep. Step 3, change state of delivery. Boom. 1, 2, 3. And you can target these lows. That'd be 2 to 2.5 standard deviation. And then also, where is it? We ended up going and continuing down to the 4 to 4.25 as well. So 15-minute gap, 1-minute change state of delivery. Since it's the close, I usually enter more aggressively with my stop loss on the close. But if it's a retest, I like to put my stop loss here. And you can see we run down to that 4 to 4.25. So I don't know if there was an inversion in here or not, but yeah, this is a flow state I noticed. This isn't one Jan took, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Jan made probably like 7K today, which is insane. So congratulations to Jan. And I think that about wraps up today's market recap. I don't know if anyone's even watching, but hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.